Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Caroline. It's good to have you here. So this practice is for the follicular phase of the menstrual cycle or pre-ovulation, whichever you prefer to call it. And during this phase, our energy levels should start to pick up. We've just had our bleed, so we're slowly starting to come out of our shells again. Some of us might be ready and raring to go and full of energy. Just make sure you're really listening to your body as we go along. Some people will feel lower in energy than others, and that's completely normal. We are all unique. So we'll be doing a few twists in this practice. So if you have any spinal issues, just be very mindful of how you're moving. Twists are really great for getting fresh blood flow into the reproductive organs and the digestive system as well. So if you think of this phase as like a little mini reset for your cycle, just to get you off on a good footing. We're going to start in extended child's pose. So if that's not comfortable for you and you already know that, please find yourself a comfortable position instead, maybe just seated. I like to take my knees out nice and wide because I like to leave space for my body, but if you prefer your legs to be parallel, go ahead and do that. So we're coming into child's pose, reaching the arms forwards and relaxing the head and the chest towards the ground. If you need to grab a pillow or something to support your head, if it doesn't quite reach the ground, you can do that. We won't be here for too long. And when you get here, just starting to breathe in and out through the nostrils. So seeing if we can take some nice deep belly breaths and soften that area a little. And just taking a moment to check in with yourself. Notice how you're feeling. Notice how your energy is and your mood. And as you're ready, we're going to come up onto all fours. So just, if you had your knees out wide, bring your knees back underneath the hips. And we'll move through a few rounds of cat and cow. So starting off in a neutral position, wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. As you inhale, you get to lift the tailbone, drop the belly, drawing the chest forwards. Feel that nice stretch along the underside of the body. As you exhale, curl the tailbone down, arch up through the spine, allow the head to drop down. And continue to move in this way, in between cat and cow. You can move at whatever pace suits you. And if you're feeling cold to make some other little movements, maybe bumping the hip side to side here, go ahead and do that. It's your practice. This is what I mean when I say listen to your body. You might find you need a little stretch to one side. Just absolutely go ahead and do that. Lovely. We're just going to tuck the toes under. We're going to come into our cow pose. And as you exhale, I'd like you to round up into cat and sink the hips back. So we start to get a bit of a stretch into the toes as well. Inhale to come forwards into cow pose. And exhale back. So if this is a bit intense for your toes, you can control how far you go. Lovely. Coming back to neutral. Just going to walk the hands forward slightly and then lower down onto our bellies. So we're coming into Sphinx. Bring the forearms onto the ground. You can take the elbows underneath the shoulders. Take the legs out a little bit wider than you normally would, so you've got some space across the lower back. And really pressing up and away from the ground. So we're not collapsing and dumping our weight. Just take a few breaths here. If you think of lengthening the tailbone down towards the heels, so you press the pelvis into the ground a little bit more. If that doesn't feel like enough for you today, you have more to give. Maybe you start to straighten the arms. So we're coming into a bit of a deeper back bend here. Not for everybody. So just listen to where you're at today. And come back down onto the forearms. We're just going to lower all the way down now. And bring the legs back in so that they're parallel. And we're going to take the arms behind, interlace the hands behind the back. As you inhale, lift the head, the chest and the arms. Keep the legs and the lower body on the ground. There's no need to look forwards. You can just gaze down. Nice, deep, steady breaths. We have a tendency to hold our breath when we become uncomfortable. And relax back down. This time, as we inhale, we're just going to lift the legs up off the ground. So keeping the head, the shoulders, the arms down on the ground. Really feeling the muscles in the back of the body working hard. And relax. On our next inhale, we're going to lift the head, the chest, the arms, and the legs too. Really focusing on your breath here. And relax everything down. Just bring the hands out in front, make a little bit of a pillow for your head. You can bend the knees and just gently sway the legs side to side. It should feel really good on your lower back. So during this phase of our cycle, it's safe to do any kind of asana. So anything lying on your front is perfectly safe, any twists, and core work too. So unlike when we were menstruating, where we give our body a rest, we want to be actively amping things up now. We're all swells loosened to our body. Lovely. Let the legs go back down. Hands come by the ribs, pressing up to all fours. We're going to tuck the toes under, send the hips up and back, downward facing dog. While we're here, we'll just spend a couple of breaths pedaling out through the feet, stretching through the backs of the legs. Just making any little movements that you'd like to. Lovely. And I'm going to take that right leg up and back. Step it forwards to the outside of the right hand. If you need to lower down to your knees and then help your leg forward, you can absolutely do that. So we've got this nice wide base between our feet. And we're going to lower the back knee. So we're in this sort of lizard variation. I'm just going to make some movement here. So just freestyle it. You can make little circles, just make rock side to side maybe. Anything that your body's calling you to do. Just really trying to open out into the hips. Just allow your body to guide you. And if you want to stay still here, if that's what your body wants, then do that too. Lovely. You're going to keep that left hand on the ground. As you inhale, sweep that right arm out and up. Nice big twist. Just make sure that the right knee is still hugging in towards the body. And then as you exhale, you're going to place that right hand back down to the inside of the right foot. We're going to twist in the opposite direction. So it might feel a little bit tight for you, so maybe you come up onto the fingertips. Lovely, and place that left hand back down. So if you're feeling a bit low on energy, I want you to stay down on the ground with the knees, with the back knee on the ground. And you're just going to pivot that back knee round and come up to find kneeling warrior 2. If you're feeling more energetic, you're going to tuck the back toes, pivot the heel down, and then find your warrior 2 standing. So whichever option you prefer, we're all going to do exactly the same thing here. Finding your warrior 2, really make sure the toes, the knees, sorry, are tracking the toes. Sink the hips down so you feel this stretch into the inner thigh. Press down through the heel of the back foot if you're standing. Nice deep breaths. And then wherever you are, we're going to bring that right forearm onto the right thigh. Take the left arm forwards and make in a few circles. So we're really trying to wake up the body, mobilize it, and make it work a little if we're feeling that. So you either look like I am now, or you're on the ground like this. Lovely. Just one more circle. And then you're going to bring the hands back down to the ground. So if you've got your back knee down, just spin the foot back around, and we're going to come into a hamstring stretch like this. Or if you're standing, then you're just going to pivot the upper body, frame that front foot and fold over in a pyramid variation. If you find your back heel comes up off the ground to do this, absolutely fine. It's also fine to keep some bend in the knee, just as long as you're getting a stretch into the hamstrings. Lovely. If you had your back knee on the ground, I want you to tuck the toes and lift the knee up now. We can all bend into the front knee. So we're all in a runner's lunge. And then we're going to walk our hands round over towards the left, straightening the leg as we go, bringing the feet parallel for a wide leg forward fold. So for some of you, you may be up on your hands with the chest lifted. Some of you may be able to fold more deeply. And just really see where your body wants to be today. We don't always feel the same. See if you can relax in a bit. Feeling the stretch all the way up the legs, the inner thighs. Wherever you are, just lift up halfway so your hands are still on the ground. Bring the right hand directly underneath the head. The left arm's going to reach out and twist towards the left. So you don't need to have the arm going perfectly upright. You can even keep it on the hip if that feels better. And exhale back down. Replace that right hand with the left. Same thing on the other side. Lovely. And place that hand back down. So from here, we're going to walk all the way to the opposite end of the mat into a runner's lunge. Lovely. So if you drop your back knee, that's for everybody. We're just going to take the foot out a little bit wider. So we're coming in back into that lizard variation on this side. And again, just freestyle some movement, anything that feels good. Maybe some circles. Maybe moving side to side. There's absolutely no wrong way to do this. Lovely. Keep the right hand on the ground, the left arm reaches out for a twist, reach the fingertips up. Keep that left leg hugging into the midline. And exhale, plant that left palm to the inside of the left foot. Right arm reaches out for a twist. So just remember, you might need to come up onto your fingertips in this twist. Just depends how open you are in the hips. Really reach through the fingertips. Lovely. And plant that hand back down. So from here, you can either spin that back leg around and come up to find warrior two on the knees, or tuck the back toes under, spin the heel down and find your warrior two standing. Whichever feels right for you. So really set the hips down, allow them to be heavy. So you're really feeling the stretch through the inner thighs and the groin. If you're standing, make sure you're really pressing down through the outer edge of the back foot. Nice deep breaths. And wherever you are, we'll bring that left forearm onto the left thigh and take the right arm forwards and around for some circles. Don't worry if you can hear crunching or anything. Perfectly normal. Just make sure you're not collapsing all your weight into this arm. We're just resting it there. We're not using it to hold ourselves up. Lovely. One more big circle. And then we're coming into our hamstring stretch. So if you're standing, just turn the heel round, pyramid. And if you're on the ground, just spin the leg back out so you're facing all in one direction and straighten the leg. Lovely. Wherever you are, bend into that front knee. If you've got your back knee down, tuck the toes and lift the back leg up. So we're all in a runner's lunge. And we're going to walk around back into our wide leg forward fold. Maybe you feel a bit more open now and you come down a little bit deeper. Maybe you take a different variation. Maybe you come up with the hands on the hips, test your strength. Just whatever feels right for you. And then bring in that left hand directly underneath the face. We'll take that twist again. Right arm reaches up and round. Maybe it's a bit more open this time. Exhale, replace that left hand with the right. Take it to the other side. And exhale down. Then from here, we're going to bend the knees slightly so we can walk around back to the top of our mat in our runner's lunge. Let's step the right foot back, so we're back in our downward facing dog. Have a little pedal out, stretch the legs if you'd like to. Lovely. And then we're going to bring that right knee forwards behind the right wrist and just spin the heel out to the side. So we're coming for a pigeon pose. So you can untuck the toes and just lengthen that left leg back. And you can choose your own adventure here. Maybe stay upright, working on a little bit of back strength. Maybe you want to soften forwards, coming onto the forearms, and maybe you come all the way to the ground. Just really see what feels right for you. We're aiming to get some kind of stretch into the outside of the hip on the right leg. So some days when we feel a bit more active, we might want to be more upright. Maybe lift the hands away, work on our strength a little bit. If we're low in energy, we might want to just surrender towards the ground and allow everything to soften. So wherever you are, just take 3 more breaths. Lovely. If you soften down towards the ground, just come back up onto your hands. What I'd like you to do, and you can watch this first if you prefer, is just roll onto that right hip. If you're able to do it by taking your hands away, great, it's going to challenge your core. We're just going to bring that left leg forwards and across. I'm going to turn to the front so you can see what my legs are doing. Just like this. And then we're going to take that right arm, hug it around the thigh if we're able to. Maybe just hold on to the knee. And then the left fingertips go behind for a twist. Just face forwards again. Lovely. And just make sure that you can keep both sit bones on the ground. If you're not able to, then maybe prefer to straighten that bottom leg. That helps you to sink that hip down a little bit. And it might be different on each side. Really nice deep breath down into the belly. As you inhale, feel your belly expand against your leg. Feel that slight compression. So when we compress the belly like this, it's a bit like a squeeze and soak effect. So if you imagine your belly is being like a sponge, when you squeeze out all the excess and the waste, when it expands again, it's taking on fresh blood. Lovely. And then we're going to go back into our pigeons. We're going back out the way we came in, if we can, hands free. So taking that left leg all the way back, bringing the hands down. And then you can tuck the back toes, and from here, coming back to downward facing dog. So any way that you can to get there. And then we'll take it to the other side. So we're going to bring that left knee behind the left wrist, spin the right heel out to the side, and tuck the right toe, and find your pigeon. And again, whichever option of pigeon you prefer today. So you might be working on a bit of back strength. You might want to just soften and relax into it. Enjoy the stretch. And have a little play around. By all means, find which version you want today. And we'll just take 3 more nice deep breaths here. Lovely. If you had come down onto your forearms, just come back up onto the hands, roll to that left hip. And again, we're going to see if we can do this hands free to challenge the core a little. Bring that right leg forwards and cross it over. You can use your hands just to squeeze it into your body more. Just make sure both sit bones are on the ground. If not, extend this left leg forwards like this. You're going to take that left arm, wrap it around the thigh or holding onto the knee, wherever you can. Right hand comes behind, twisting towards that right side. So as you inhale, really feel the belly compress against the leg. Probably really feel it in the outer hip as well on the right side. One of my favourite little stretches for that area. Nothing else quite gets into it in the same way. Lovely. And then this time we're just going to unravel back to centre. Take that right leg behind, we'll come up onto the knees. We're going to make our way back into a child's pose. So whether that's with wide legs or with legs parallel, it's entirely up to you. Soften the head and the chest towards the ground. And then we're going to walk the hands off to one side. So walking over to the left side, bring the right hand on top. Feel that really nice stretch along the right side of the body. Walking the hands all the way over to the right side. The left hand comes on top this time. Walking the hands back to centre and then walk them back towards you, lifting the chest. So you can either stay with the legs how they are, or if that's not going to be comfortable, take a comfortable seat. And we're just going to close down the eyes for a moment. Breathing in and out through the nose, just noticing how you feel. Maybe that's enough for you today. Maybe you're feeling ready to take on something more energetic. So just really taking the time to notice how you're feeling and what you want to do next. And bringing the hands together in front of the heart space. Gently bow the head towards the hands. Silently thank yourself for showing up for a practice, for showing up for yourself, for your mind, for your body. And I thank you for allowing me to guide you through this practice. Namaste. I really hope you benefited from this practice and that you enjoyed it. If you did, please just click like, subscribe to my channel, and share it with a friend.